everybody, I'm back. Real With Omar. My man today, Jason Jumpman Lacayo.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes.
We were in the middle of a conversation, so I'm going to jump right back into it. So you're saying in the East Coast, there's no ESU, which is emergency service?
No, on the West Coast.
On the West Coast?
Yeah, there's no, on the West Coast, it's not really an ESU.
Okay, so there's a SWAT team.
Yeah, SWAT team on the West Coast, ESU on the East Coast.
And you're ESU?
Yes.
So you're SWAT on the East Coast?
Yes.
So when would they call you? Sorry to just jump into it, guys.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. So ESU responds to like a few things, but our special weapons and tactics portion, that's like search warrants, any kind of like barricaded subjects, anything that would require a special skill set to either get into a room or a location.
Right.
That's when they would call us.
Okay.
But we also do medical calls. Like I'm an EMT as well. That's like part of the requirement of being there.
Training.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to do like a 6-week expedited EMT course while you're in school.
Oh, shit.
And then you got to do special weapons and tactics, heavy rope rescue, and then like vehicle extrication.
What's a heavy rope rescue?
Heavy rope rescue, that's like high angle or low angle rescue. So that's like rappelling down buildings.
Word?
Yeah.
So you like a fucking G.I. Joe.
Yo, bro, scariest shit I've ever done in my entire life, bro. Hands down. I'm not even gonna lie.
You're like a real deal right
dude,
now.
Like it was like a goal of mine to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you? All right. So let's talk about you a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
There's a lot to go over, so we might go over like the budgeted time. But don't worry, I know the producers here. We'll be all right. You're SWAT, but also you have a few things going on. So you were a CrossFit trainer.
Yes. Yes.
Right. You're a CrossFit athlete.
Yes.
Or you call it something else? Tactical athlete.
I'm a tactical athlete.
Tactical athlete. I researched you a little bit.
Sir.
I got a little. We'll talk about
Appreciate
that. You play football.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You wear your kicks.
Yeah, love sneakers, man.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. You kind of started chopping it.
Yep.
I mean, I had him on the show, season 1, I believe, with Manny and
with
Cam.
Manny and Cam.
Right. So, thanks for being on the show.
I appreciate
Right.
you, man.
No, absolutely. Thank you. What else? Oh, and reality TV star.
Yeah, reality TV. I've done that a few times.
So where do we start?
Wherever you want to start.
All
man.
right. So you came out of college.
Yeah, I got a unique story with
Let's
college,
go with it. All right. Where did we go to high school?
I went to high school in Yonkers. I went to Saunders Trades and
DMX?
Technical High School. Yeah.
Right.
DMX, home of the Locks, Mary J. Blige.
All right. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Mary J. I just watched her show on Amazon, the movie.
Yeah.
It was dope. It was deep.
Yeah.
It was deep.
Auntie Mary, and we like to call her.
Yeah. All right. So went to high school there.
Yeah, went to high school there. So Saunders is a trade and technical high school. So I learned a trade when I was there. I learned HVAC.
Okay.
So I kind of jumped into the workforce like right after I graduated.
17?
I was like 18. Yeah, I was about 18. Didn't like it. And then I went to school.
You went to college?
Yeah, I went to college. Okay. I went to Westchester Community, was there, got my 60 credits that I needed to get hired.
Your associates?
Yeah, my associates to get hired by NYPD.
Okay.
So it was either going to be military or police.
You had family in the military?
Yeah, my dad was in the military.
Okay. Usually that's the way it goes.
More than likely, that's how it
usually
goes.
that's the way it goes.
Yeah, my dad was in the Marines, and then he did Army Reserve.
Any tours? Your pops?
Yeah, my dad was in Vietnam when it ended.
Yeah, my pops went to Vietnam too.
Yeah. So he was, my dad was a kid when he was over there. He was like 19 years old when he went over. But, I always used to see my dad in uniform, so I was like, it's either going to be military or
you kind of you gravitated toward it.
Absolutely. Yeah, my dad was a correction officer when he got out of the military.
CO.
Yeah. So he didn't want me to become.
You can tell I know a lot of guys on the wrong side of the street, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't want me to be a CO. So he's like, listen, take the PD test.
He's like, this sucks. Go do that.
Yeah, he said you'll be much happier outside on the road doing things every single day. So I was like, all right, cool. Took all the exams I could, and then they called me first because I literally was going to go to the Navy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they called me before. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to do that. Because that was right around the time when, like, Afghanistan, all that shit was kicking off.
Okay.
So a lot of my boys that were enlisting were getting deployed right away.
Right,
like Mosul, they were, Ramadi, all that. Yeah, they were getting after it. So, I had a little fear in my heart. So the PD aspect.
You're like, I might have to go.
Yeah. Because like a lot of the dudes I was talking to, they were getting into it out there. It wasn't like they were stationed and they were far away from it. They were in it.
Right.
So I was like, yeah. So I said, all right, I'll take the police route.
This is like a pension.
Yeah. I was like, 20 years and I'm out. I was young when I got hired. I was 22.
Right.
So, start at 22, end at 42. I was like, that's a ground ball.
And then I can start my real life.
I can start my real life.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
that's what a lot of police officers do.
Yeah.
They retire and then they follow their passion.
Yeah. No, well, then that's the plan.
Okay.
So we'll see.
So what year are you in now?
Year 17, bro.
Oh, so you
I'm
on the
about to start
you on the
17.
downside
I'm
of the
on
cycle.
downside,
Yeah, absolutely.
I got over the hump.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the downside.
Okay, so how became police officer? So how do we get to SWAT?
So I started in NYPD,
Right.
and then I was down there for like 2 years. I was trying to get the lay of the land to figure out what it would take for me to get to
Can you say, and you can be like, oh, I can't say that.
Yeah.
What precinct?
the 4-6, the Alamo, 181 and Ryer Ave.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was in the heart of
live
it.
out there.
They
Yeah.
call it the Alamo for a reason, man. And I was there for like 2 years. Played football for NYPD when I was down there, and that's how you kind of get a little bit of the lay of the land, because there's a lot of bosses.
Meet the other officers. and
Yeah,
stuff.
so you meet detectives, you meet lieutenants, captains, and so on. We even had a deputy inspector that was on our team, like playing.
Right.
So, I figured out what my route was going to be. I was like, all right, I want to, do some patrol work, learn the precinct, learn the job, and then I wanted to get in a specialized unit like right away.
Okay.
So, with that, you just got to be proactive, which is what I did. I was in a proactive unit when I was down there.
So you're like, yo, so you're feeling it out. You're like, yo, where's a good place to be at? Because
Yeah.
I'm sure besides the actual department, a lot of people don't understand is like there's a culture.
Yes.
Right. There's a culture of different departments. Like
Yes.
you have what do you call it? Internal affairs. They have a culture.
Yep.
I know a lot of different dudes, and you talk to one cop, he has a totally different perspective on the
Than
police
another
force
cop,
than
yeah.
another cop. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've sat at tables where they're talking and they talk about perps and stuff. I'm like, yo, we just people.
Yeah.
So I've been around it.
See, like the beautiful thing about my family is I got the good and the bad on my family. So, it's,
I
I
talk to
think
everybody.
everybody has that. I feel like
if you're being real,
some guys forget that that is a part of the,
there's
your
that
life.
cousin that you be like, yo, don't call me.
Or that uncle, like, yo, your phone rings, it's trouble. So, but yeah, I was down there just trying to figure out the lay of the land. And then, I had a good family friend that was like, listen, if you could get out.
Get out of what?
PD.
Okay.
He was like, take any test, any other department, but just don't stay here.
Okay.
You don't want to do 20 years here. I was like, really? He was like, yeah. And he was a highly decorated detective.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I
So
took
he
his
had
advice.
weight.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he had a voice with weight.
Yes.
Right,
Like he knew chiefs. Like he was a very well-known guy.
Well, I'm just saying to you,
Yeah.
because sometimes you hear advice from certain people, and it could be the same advice as other guys giving you. But because it come from him, you're like, yeah, whatever. But
Yeah.
this guy, he had weight. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like I'm very big on that. Like
Yeah.
if there's somebody that I know and I respect,
Absolutely.
and they give me a gem,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take
Influence,
that.
influence.
And
Absolutely.
So he was like, listen, take as many tests as you can. So I took everything under the sun, and then White Plains called me, and they basically was like, hey, we're looking to hire 5 cops. Would you be interested? I was like, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And and then the process started. So I left New York City May of 2007. I was hired in White Plains May 7th, 2007.
And that carries over your term, right? You don't start again. You like-
Yes and no. So
you like how I know these things.
yeah. Yes
Yeah.
and no. So in the state pension system, it counts, but for the city of White Plains, I have to give them 20 to get my full medical. So
all right.
versus me retiring at like 42 versus like 44 to me was a ground ball. I was
Luckily, though, it's always 2 years. It wasn't like 7 or 8. Then you're like,
like,
damn.
because there's some guys I know that had like 7 years.
Yeah, and they still made the switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just because at the end of the day, quality of life financially is just a better move.
Well, my question was going to be, is there a differential in pay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just walking in the door, it was like an $18,000 raise, almost 20 grand.
Nice. Okay.
And the call volume just went from like here to like here. So I was like, yeah, ground ball, I'll do it. And then I had to learn the lay of the land in White Plains.
Right.
And it was just it was easier because the city, you a city guy, so city's a busy place. There's different faces that come through. Certain neighborhoods
There's a
have their players.
congestion of people.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so White Plains is the same people. I've been dealing with the same people for 17 years.
Wow.
Kids that were like 7 when I got hired are now 17, 18 years old.
You still see them?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So
Yeah.
like the little troublemakers then are now grown troublemakers.
I told you.
Yes. So, I learned who was who. I learned the lay of the land, and I figured out, the route I was going to take.
Okay.
And, I was on patrol for maybe 18 months.
Okay.
Because I had enough street experience from the city.
To put you right on the.
Yeah.
Right.
So, they do like a little FTO course. And then I was out on my own, and I figured out, all right, listen, well, if I'm proactive, then I get into a specialized unit.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I can kind of create my own little space. And I always said my 8th year, I wanted to be in ESU, and I did it.
Really?
Yeah, there was a couple of, speed bumps in the middle, but
Yeah.
in my 8th year, I made it to ESU.
There's some delays, but we got there.
But I still, I'm a goal-driven guy, so I was like on it.
Well, let's talk about goal driven, or let's talk about. I was talking to my other guests earlier today, and we were talking about pillars, right?
Yeah.
Pillars of life. So obviously, you know, you have your career, which is one part of your life,
Yes, sir.
and then you have, and we'll break it down a little more. You have other things that are going on. You had like you did some stuff on TV, and you do athletics, and all that takes a certain type of I'm gonna say grit, right? Like I was talking to my other boy the other day. He was like, "Yo, because you don't realize it because you're doing it, right? The same way certain things are not realized by me because this is just who I am. It's the fabric of my entity." Like my boy was like, "Yo, you bugging?" I was like, "Yo, man, I don't know if I could do it." He's like, "Yo, bro, but you wake up 4 a.m. every day."
Yeah.
And he goes, and you go into a dark fucking room and train when everybody else is asleep.
That takes a special person, bro. Absolutely. I always say that.
That's what he was telling me. He's like,
that's the guy you got to worry about.
He's like, you bugging, bro. I was like, yo, but that's the only way I can get it in because during the day with the businesses I have, I got to be on call. I don't want to use the parallelism like I'm not a cop, I'm not saving lives, but people depend on me, right? And they need answers. Like finance and real estate is, it's like usually the biggest transaction you're doing, right? The client. And the reason they gravitate towards me is because I give them transparency. I give them I'm responsive and I'm comforting. I'm like, yo, don't worry about it, relax. Like, like when they need to hear that reassurance, I'm like, yo, I got you. I told you I got you. Just relax. Let it play out. So in your situation, you're just talking about your professional life, right?
Yeah.
So then how do I incorporate, you used to play sports as a kid, or how do we incorporate you being, because you're pretty accomplished. I've seen your videos. You're a little strong, bro. You're a little strong. So tell me, guide me through that parallelism. Like during work, you make time for that. You told me you're engaged.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of stuff. So how is it that you have the time to do all these things?
You got to make time.
Okay. You usually make time for things that are important to you.
Yeah, you got to make time for the things that are important to you, like you said. So, there's pillars in life, right? And every so often you got to check in and making sure that you're making that progress to reaching that pillar. And I just make sure I hold myself accountable.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So,
where do you get that from? From your military dad?
Yeah, I think my family was like that, dude. Like I grew up in a space where they were on top of us as far as like milestones.
Okay.
Like, you have long-term and short-term goals. So that's something that
So they gave you direction.
Yeah,
right?
1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%. So it's like I had to follow in those footsteps. It was only right, and that's the only way I know. You know what I mean? I was raised in that.
If that's all you know, that's all you're gonna do.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the structure that I'm in, and I had to follow that to a T. So there was like a 3-year plan or like a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and then by the time I retire, is where I was gonna figure out. All right, we took all these small little goals to accomplish this one big thing. Okay. So that's what I'm kind of in this space right now.
What's the big thing? Do you mind talking about that?
Yeah. So I want to work in some form of like media.
Okay.
Like that's the goal. Like if I could do this for a living, this would be phenomenal.
Let's do it.
You know what I mean? Like if I could do something like that, because I have, like we spoke about earlier, some experience with like reality TV. I often get.
No, let's not blow over that, brother. Let's not blow over that. Let's talk about that. All right. So, what shows did you do?
I did a show called Dating Around on Netflix.
That's him.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Season 1, episode 2. That was like 2019 when it dropped.
How'd you get involved with that?
So this is the beautiful thing about Instagram.
Yeah.
You get these casting companies that reach out to you via Instagram. If they feel you're interesting enough, or you feel a certain criteria that they're looking for, they'll reach out to you. So I constantly get stuff.
Oh, that was it. It was DM?
Yeah, it was a DM, and then like it was a casting company. So I'm like, so in the beginning, it's almost like this is bullshit. Like there's no way that they want it. They're like, no, seriously.
Especially in the beginning of Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Like I was talking to my other guy, he was like, yeah. So I was like,
if stuff
Nike hit me up.
Yeah. She like, what the fuck? What's this? So I kind of was just, all right, whatever. I went through the motions, and the next, they're like, all right, cool. We're really considering you. Would be able to come down to like Brooklyn Shipyard to do an interview. I'm like, cool, no problem. Right. Go down there, sit in front of a board, and they're asking me questions. Like, oh no, we really like you, and all right, cool. Here's the next process. The next process was pretty interesting. They give you a psychological exam to make sure you're not crazy.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was right next to the police academy where I took a psychological exam.
So you knew the answers.
I knew all the answers, and it's all redundancy. It's they basically ask you the same like 25 questions, worded differently.
What's one?
To see. Do you love your mother?
Okay.
Do you torture animals?
Really?
Yeah, that is a real question.
Okay.
It's stuff like that, but they mix up the words.
Are you sure?
Yeah. They want it because they're looking for inconsistencies.
Right,
and then after you do the written personality test, you got to sit down with a shrink.
Oh,
and the shrink kind of asks you questions about the written exam.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So you passed.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then it was
you passed twice. You passed
twice. I've taken 4 psychological exams in my career, so I know the ins and outs. And
I've never taken one. So,
yeah, dude, it's kind of nerve wracking when you do the oral portion of it.
Talking to somebody.
Yeah, because they're talking to you. So mind you, imagine us having a conversation. And every time you say something, I'm jotting some shit down.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
what you writing?
What are you writing, man? I'm like, ugh. Just freaking out a bit, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. So all right, so you passed it.
Yeah,
and then what happens?
And then they give you they give you little landmarks. All right, we're 2 weeks away. Mm-hmm. Just be ready. What day can you come out? And I'm like, all right, I'm off these days. So all right, we'll make it on a Friday at whatever o'clock. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, cool. They send you an Uber. Mm-hmm. They send me. I went to this hotel. I forgot the hotel. It was in Brooklyn. It was gorgeous though. Mm-hmm. And you get a handler.
What's that? Somebody to walk you around.
Yeah. Okay. So but she's prepping you for what's gonna happen.
so basically, reality TV is scripted. In a way.
It's a controlled setting.
Right. Okay.
Everything else is on the fly.
Okay.
So, she's sitting there. You gotta bring 2 outfits. Okay. And if they don't like your outfit, they got a whole wardrobe for you.
Okay.
So they're like, yay or nay on the outfit. So I brought, whatever outfit I felt comfortable in. It's cool. I had a hat. They're like, take that shit off. I was like, all right, no problem. So I take the hat off or whatever have you. And they basically brief you. All right, you're going to walk in. There's going to be a bar. And there's 9 cameras, bro. It's everywhere. All over the place. There's one here, one behind you. You can't look and not see a camera. Okay. And then they tell you, when you walk up to the bar, because basically I was meeting her at a bar. Okay. You can't really move the chair because it's weighted and it's positioned in a way.
For the angles.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. And so you just sit in the fucking chair.
Yeah. Sit in the fucking chair. Don't move. And then just.
And don't move your head too much.
You're on a date. And that's how it goes. I go, okay, cool. No problem. And I've never seen this woman.
Ever.
Right.
So you don't know what you're going to get into.
I know nothing, my man. I know nothing. So I walk in there and they just tell you what color dress she has. So mind you, I didn't even know this either. The other people that were in this restaurant.
They were all actors?
They're actors.
Okay.
Because you need a controlled setting. Right, God forbid some crazy person runs up and does some bananas. Then you're going to be in a pickle. But I walk up to the bar and then I see her and then the date starts. And then it's if it gets stagnant, they'll stop. So
you suck. Stop.
Yeah. But thank God that didn't happen. The only issue I had was while you're waiting, because they were shooting multiple episodes.
Oh damn! Okay.
Of this particular season.
Okay.
So
you have a lot of people on dates.
Yeah, in different portions of the hotel.
Okay.
So when you're sitting with the handler, everything's free. Mm-hmm. So they're boozing you up, bro.
Oh, so I was loose.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to get too lit. I was like, let me not get too lit.
I passed my psychological chill.
Yeah, I'd be slurring my words. I might say or do something crazy. I don't want my mother to see it. So I had to slow myself down. And then you're drinking on the date. So that was the one thing that I was like, Jay, you got to be conscious of what you're doing here. Because if you have one, too many tequila sodas.
You have one shot at this.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. And then you just go through the date. And then basically there's blocks, right? And if you make it to the end of the date, it's like an Uber ride. And then you're not really taking her home, but it's they circle the block. You just have a conversation.
Yeah, they give the inference. Exactly. Happily ever after. Okay,
yeah.
Got you.
And then it goes like that. It was one of the worst dates I ever went on in my entire life.
I gotta watch it. Is that on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. I've never failed on a date, and I happen to fail
as bad
on
as
national.
This one?
Yeah.
Well,
emphatic fail.
If there's no chemistry, there's no chemistry. You can't fix that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're on TV. Make the best out of it.
Yeah.
Here's the question: what kind of money are you getting for this type of show?
It was nothing crazy.
Okay.
It was nothing crazy. I think it was like $350 for the night, which is great. I'll take it. Right. Plus free food and drinks.
Right.
And
plus you get to put in your portfolio and
Yeah, it's a way to get yourself out there. It's not that's what I was more concerned about because I was like an extra in Pride and Glory before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you automatically you get put in the Actors Guild with that.
Oh, as in just being extra, non-speaking?
Non-speaking.
Wow.
Non-speaking,
okay.
because that is all like union stuff. They don't even mess around with that. If you go over 8 hours, you get paid overtime. Like, this shit is no joke.
Okay.
I'm actually still involved in that too. So like, I got called the other day for like Equalizer. They needed a specific build for it. They're like you need a.
We saw you on Instagram.
They're like, so hey, come down here. You know, take your little COVID screening, and you know,
And no carbs tomorrow.
Yeah. Just make sure you're looking jacked. And you know, you just do that. You sit on set for like 8 hours, and you do. Your thing.
If you get called, and if you don't get, you get paid no matter what.
You get paid no matter what.
That's
you
pretty
get paid
dope.
No matter what, as long if you're on set, you could be standing there doing nothing. You still get paid.
That's pretty dope.
You know,
that's pretty dope.
And they feed you.
Okay.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I love food.
Yo, currency, man.
Yeah.
I think the closest I got to being an actor was I worked on Men in Black, and I was the guy who I moved the cars between scenes.
Oh shit. Okay.
I got like 150. I was like 17, 18.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
man.
they were like, "Yo, we need somebody to come down at 5 a.m." My man called me. He's like, "Yo, oh, you know, we gonna get paid cash right there." I was like, "What we doing?" He's like, "We moving cars." I was like,
Perfect.
All right,
I'll be
let's go. Pick me up.
That's
Pick
it.
me up. That was it.
It's an easy way to make some money and have a little bit of fun.
And
too,
to learn about the movie business,
Yes.
like how on the movie it looks so legit, and when they're filming it, that shit ain't nothing. Like it was a scene with the Men in Black 1 where they're coming down with the armored truck, and it was a fake armored truck. You could hear it when they're in real life. You hear it clink, clink, clink. You're like, it's all like tin.
Yeah.
But in the movie, it sounds like an armored tank because they add the sound effects and stuff like that. So
Yes.
it was just it woke me up. I was like, wow, that shit is fake as fuck.
Yeah, a lot of that shit is fake, man.
Yeah, but you don't understand it until you
So
see
you're
it
on scene, you're on set, and you see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was one. You did another one.
Yeah, I did Battle Bunker, which was on YouTube. It's a YouTube series.
I saw that.
One of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life.
Instagram also?
Yeah, Instagram. Basically, somebody like referred me to this guy, and he reached out to me via DM. He's like, "Hey, man, like 3 guys I know said like you're the guy.
Right?
Would you be able to come? Yeah, would you be able to come out and compete at the Battle Bunker?" And I'm like, "What is the Battle Bunker?" So he says me. I'm like, "Oh shit, I think I could do this.
Right.
We're gonna do cop versus firefighter. Show me what you got." I'm like, "Cool." And then I went out there and did what I had to do and made a little bit of money. Won a watch, sold the watch, made some money on the watch. So
what kind of watch you win?
It's called a Luminox. It's like a special forces kind of watch.
Okay.
So I know the SEALs use it. Certain branches in the Army use it. So I was like, yeah, cool, whatever.
So you're a champion.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're a champion.
I'm actually going back in I think next month or the month after.
Okay. To defend your title?
Yeah. No. So I got to go against another cop now.
Okay.
So they have like a bracket system, and I matched up with this SWAT guy from Miami. Just outside of Dade County. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. That's dope. That's dope, man. That's dope. All right, so let's talk about your podcast. What is it? What's the name of it? What do you talk about?
My podcast is called Behind the Mic.
I like it.
We talk about everything, man. I'm trying to be universal when it comes to it. I don't want to be pigeonholed. I want to be able to have a finance guy on there. I want to be able to have a police officer, an athlete, and so on. So just covering all aspects of life. But the meaning of Behind the Mic is just getting into the mind of the person that you're interviewing.
I like that.
And there's so much to cover because I know so many people from so many different walks of life. So you can you can tune in one day and I'll have a rapper on there, and then you tune in another day and I'll have a 30-year vet from the police department.
That's dope. That's dope.
Just having different groups of people from different walks of life.
Yeah, when I hear you talk right now, I hear a little bit of my own vision with my show. My show is about representation. And
yes.
What I mean by that is, I want people to know that, and I've interviewed people from California, like all types of different people. We went down, we interviewed this billionaire, just a lot of different type of people. And the one thing that's important to me, and I'm telling you this as a minority to a minority, is I don't think there's enough representation of intellectual, polished, successful in whatever way, shape, or form. However you want to define success is not only monetary. It's there's different levels of it. There's just so many different pillars of it. And I think we don't get enough. I just think we haven't been given the same shots as other people.
Absolutely.
And that's my little mission. My little mission is to show that, honestly, it doesn't matter what the color I am or you are or whatever, but whoever's here is a form of excellence. And I want to highlight that. And I think that I believe, and you'll hear me say this all the time, only through ownership can we change anything.
Yeah.
And controlling my IP, my intellectual property, to me is really big. Yeah. I'm in real estate, so I use property as an analogy, but controlling IP is important. And I'm glad that you're doing that. And I only mention what I'm doing because I think it's important for people to understand the mission. I think it's more than just, being on camera, which is cool, chopping it up. To me, this is the new way of socialization. Right? Instead of hanging out on the corner like when I was a young kid, now we just chop it up.
Now, yeah.
You
got to change with the time.
Right, and people can hear like my perspective with my years behind what I'm, whatever vehicles I've used. You've used, the SWAT.
Yeah.
I've used real estate and mortgage lending and all that. I was recruited into this business, which is not really Latinos and black people are not known for being in this industry. Yeah. I happened to get recruited in 2004 into it, and I just took it to the next level. I ran with it. I was like, they just hit me a pop-up, and I caught that shit, and I kept running.
That's it.
And I never brought it back.
Yeah, I got a lot of that from when we had that first interview.
Yeah.
I was kind of in the loop, but sitting down and talking to you was like, it was eye-opening, man. Mm-hmm. And then, because we had like interacted via social media, and I love the way you carried yourself. I love your demeanor, man. And then sitting down talking to you, getting your story, I was like, yeah, he's my people. He's the kind of person that I would be around. Like if I ran into you in the street, it would be a seamless kind of thing. I think we would vibe. Yeah. Right out the gate.
Absolutely.
And I love the way you carry yourself. There's a lot of similarities. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I know I see your watches, and I'm very into that. So. Yeah. Our fashion is very similar.
I got something nice on today. I got something nice on today.
I paid attention when I came in. So, I like being in rooms with people who are in different fields but have like a similar vibe to me. Yeah. Because I feel like that's the only way you could really grow. You know what I mean?
There's so much to learn from anybody. And I say that from, like I said, there's different pillars of everything. So there's some people you learn straight business from. Yes. And look, I'll be totally honest. I've learned from certain people that are much more successful than me. And they have a certain level of ruthlessness that I don't know if I want. So it becomes the question who you want to be. Yeah. Like, because I'm like, damn, man, that's kind of, he's like, well, that's the way it has to be.
That's the way it has to be.
And I'm like, all right, let me think about it. And it becomes a question of your integrity. And it's not wrong or right. It's just, who do you want to be? Right? Yeah. That becomes the question.
Absolutely.
That becomes the question. So this to me is also a learning experience. I can learn things from you. I've learned from people that are more successful. I try to teach the guy who was here before me. He's like 15 years before me. So I'm trying to give him some games so he understands how to, this is the way it should move. This is the way, I mentioned a lot of collaboration over competition. I'm like, look, everything won't have to be a competition, especially if you're not in the same space. And even if you are in the same space, you can't do everything or be on every, I was having a conversation with another guy, and he was like, oh, yeah, I want all. I was like, yo, you can't be on every deal. And that should be okay. Yeah. It should be okay, bro. Like, if you put out enough good energy, people will want to work with you, right?
Absolutely. I agree in that.
This is me talking to young guys in the game. And I was like, and honestly, I have a number. The number is like 30. I juggle 30 clients at a time. I have a team of like 6 to 7 people. 30 people I can give like real quality time to. Because in my business, and I was talking to Darren about this earlier, I'm not just commodity. I'm not selling a hamburger. There's so many moving parts, and there's a lot of emotion involved because it's high pressure for people. You can't be I believe you can't be your best self. To my number's 30 at a time because dilution. You just
then you're spreading yourself too thin.
You dilute it. Just like I got no energy because then you got to go home and actually have a brain to talk to your wife and your kids and do regular shit. So. I've broken my thing down, and I kind of I kick game about it because, everybody, they have, a lot of false, I don't want to say false pretense, false impressions, right? They believe, hey, man, it's just you wave a wand. I got a call this morning, I need you to do a $5 million deal. I'm like, oh, right now? Right? It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Why the hell do you call?
Yeah, I get it.
I said, why you calling me 7 in the morning? I know, but you always up. I was like, but this is my time.
Yeah.
Call me at 9. I was like, unless we're in
I'm off the clock.
Unless we're in the severe emergency right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, call me at 9, bro. Call me at 9. But those are the calls I get, the text messages I get, and I'm grateful for them, even if sometimes they're a headache. But I tell guys in the game, the big thing is, and I don't know, you're in a different profession, so I don't see that happening. But a lot of guys in my professional field, they over-promise and under-deliver. Me, I'll under-promise and I over-deliver. And that's how I do it. I'm like, yo, it could happen, but I have a good feeling we'll get through. Like I have a friend of mine, I was like, yo, I asked you this question. He was like, oh, but I didn't know you meant that. And I was like, all right, hold on. Let me see if I can make this, finesse it. Got it finessed, it's clean. But you know what I'm saying? It could have been a fucking problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I get it.
So those are my day-to-days. And sometimes I'll run 14 hours doing that. Other times I'm like, yo, 6. Like on a Friday, I'll be like, I'm shutting down at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
There's just so much calibration.
That's a day, man. 14 hours, that's a day.
Well, yo, up at 4, I had a client in Denmark. Text me at 4 in the morning. She knows she's fucking trolling me on Instagram. Oh, you're awake. I need to. I'm like, so I love that they created this whole do not disturb thing on the iPhone now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hit that button.
Awesome.
Right away.
Awesome.
Like I make that a thing. Like when I get home from work, I put that do not disturb on.
Yeah.
Until I wake up and then I'm ready to like deal with the world, then I turn it back on.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard.
On my terms.
It's hard to have that discipline, especially younger people.
Yeah.
Because younger people, they have this whole fear of missing out shit. Like, I'll miss that one phone call.
That FOMO's for real, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm in a space where I don't really care about that.
Well, you're how old are you?
39.
Yeah, you're not. I think after in your 30s, your 20s, you kind of like your eyes are wide open all the time,
yeah.
And then in your 30s, you kind of realize, man, that shit wasn't all that good anyway. And then
I'm at that. I'm right there, bro. I'm right there. Like I'm just in a good space right now, man.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, and all glory to God for that. But because I was. Like, everybody hits these like rough patches.
Were you in a rough patch recently?
Yeah, not recently. I say like 6 years ago, I wasn't in a good space, physically, mentally, and like spiritually. I was in a good place, but was able to work through some things and work on some personal development. And
well, the fact that you can talk about it is a big testament.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people they just try to kind of put it under the.
Yeah, it ain't all sunshine and
rainbows,
birds chirping.
It ain't all unicorns and there's a saying, unicorns and bubble gum and something like that.
Yeah.
It ain't all that, man. Well, one thing also, let's talk because we both kind of we're kind of on the gram heavy, right?
Yeah.
And the one thing I try to explain it because like some people are like, yo, why don't you put that out? I was like, yo, listen, understand something. Instagram became a tool for me to use for work, right? That's one thing. But I told them, I was like, you have to understand, you control what you want the world to see.
Yeah.
And what some people don't understand is what they see or maybe somebody else's, just their highlights.
Yeah.
And they don't see their struggle. Oh, my life sucks. His life looks so good. I was like, yo, why are you looking at it like that? Look at, yo, your life is your life. You got one.
Yeah.
Right? You woke up today, baby. I was like, yo, get your shit right because that's what I see with the younger crowd. They're like, yo,
they worry about what the next man's doing.
Yeah, no, what's that? He's this and he's on vacation. Yo, we all post things and then there's other people that I can't really relate to where they post a lot of pain.
Yeah.
I don't post pain. My pain is mine. And maybe it's my age group or my demographic, but I I handle it because I know this is part of it. It's okay. It's okay to, you could work wounded. You could and I tell people that all the time. You could work wounded. You don't gotta live it. It doesn't have to be it.
Yeah.
You can understand it, and then you work around it, right? And work through it. So
people can't remain in that space. I always say that.
You making that statement. I wanted to talk about that because people think, look, I'm super positive. There are times I get, shit gets me upset, but it's a moment. It's not a life.
Yeah, you don't remain there.
Yeah, it's a moment.
Yes.
And acknowledge the moment, release the moment, and keep understanding how lucky you are, right?
Yeah.
Live in America. Yo, you could do whatever you want,
whatever
bro.
you want here.
Check out the Ukraine right now, man.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy out there. I was like, I don't even want to talk about all this. I mean, maybe you are the right person to talk to. What's up with all this fucking violence right now in New York City?
It's the laws, bro.
That's just
no one is paying consequences for the laws that they're breaking. This is a bail reform situation. So if the person committing the crime has no fear, then what's going to stop them? Nothing. Mm-hmm. At this point, you can commit an atrocity and be out in an hour.
That just recently changed?
Yeah, it's been like that for quite some time, man. And these guys are running the streets after committing like a felony, bro.
Yo, did you hear about the 83-year-old girl that was a guy?
the chopping up people. Yeah, bro.
Yo, what is that?
New York is now Fear City, man. It's not. It's like I never thought. Like I remember coming up, like late '80s, early '90s as a child. There was stuff going on in New York, but
the crack epidemic, AIDS, poverty,
City was going through it, and then we kind of worked our way out of it, and we got to like a golden era, and now we're kind of digressing and going back, and then that's the scary part. You know what I'm saying? Like my parents are retired now. They reside in Columbia, South Carolina. They built their house. I always tell my parents, there's no need for you to come back up here no more.
I'll come to you?
Yeah, I'll come to you. New York is far too dangerous. There's a lot of like random acts of violence.
Yeah.
Like just elderly getting assaulted. And like there used to be a code of like honor. There's like honor amongst.
On the street you talking about?
On the street.
Yeah, it was different. I think it was different.
Like no women and children, like there was etiquette, I would say. I would say etiquette more than a code. And now it's a free-for-all. It's Mad Max 2022 out here. Everybody for themselves. And you really got to be on your P's and Q's and, make sure your head is on the swivel because you can be in a situation and it can go left just like that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's happening more in the city.
Because they won't stand for that shit up here.
Yeah, I recently moved to Westchester last year and now going back to the Bronx. And I work still in the Bronx and Great Neck, different areas, but like the fabric of it, you kind of feel it. It's a little different. You're like, fuck.
Yeah,
you know
I've been around long enough to see the switch, and I'm like, yeah, this don't feel right. So if I'm in certain places, I'm in and out.
You don't stay.
I don't linger anymore. I'm in and out, and that's that. I don't really. Hey, we're going over here. I'm good. I'll be over here. I don't want to get involved in anything extra.
Yeah.
No extracurricular activities for me unless it's on my turn.
Yeah, and I think going back to what you said about the reality TV, it can be a controlled environment.
I like to be in a controlled environment. I like to know where I'm at. I like to know the people I'm around. I want to make sure that they're not getting into anything extra, and I'm not putting myself or anybody I'm with in harm's way.
And the wild part is, like, recently we went out on Saturday, so I think I've reached a level of bouginess lately. Like, I only go to places that I know people at the restaurant, like they can put like a special room for me or put me. I've become that guy. I'll be like, yo, you got ballet?
Exactly. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that either. That's what you work for, right?
It depends. Though. Like some people are like, I'm like, yo, I'm just sorry, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to look for parking.
This is the way I like to operate. I like to be within this space here. There's nothing wrong with that, man. I feel like that's what we work for, man, to put ourselves in position.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. And I just I feel that sometimes people, it's hard for certain people to kind of not I would say not associate. What's the word I want to look for? To relate to it because it's not their reality. And I'm like, yo, you create your reality. If you don't like that, get a side hustle. Do like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. I hate my job. All right, man, what do you do about it?
Change that narrative.
In about 3 months, I come back, what'd you do? Nothing.
All
right, man.
Can't sit in your hands and expect change.
That's where we at, man.
I always tell people that.
Like my man said he said it yesterday, had me dying. He goes, yo, everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die.
Yeah. That's part of the deal.
Yeah, you can't.
Just saying.
There's not one without the other, brother.
Yeah.
So you got to understand. You ready to make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
But that is that's the one paradigm, and the other paradigm I'm looking at a lot with the younger generation is that everybody wants to follow their happiness, and I'm like, yeah, man, you got to earn your happiness. Like, first you got to get out and do some shit. And I was telling my son, I was like, you got to do like the process of elimination, right? You got to take certain jobs. Maybe you don't like it. That's cool. You don't have to stay there.
Yeah.
But you got to step forward. You can't just be like, I'm going to wait for the perfect time.
I am noticing that too when you talk to these younger guys.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for, I'm going to be a gamer. I'm like, all right, bro. All right. What are you going to do in the meantime?
That reality to me, like their reality is, whew. Like, I hear a lot of kids saying, I'm going to be a YouTuber. I'm going to be an influencer. And I'm like, damn, bro, like this is what we've come to?
Yeah, what are you influencing?
Yeah. Like,
well, the big question became one time I asked him, I said, what'd you do? What have you done?
Yes.
Well, nothing.
Because you got to have some kind of track record.
I was like, nigga, who you influence?
Yeah, exactly. Like, who are you to influence someone else?
What are you talking about then?
But you got to have some groundwork. You got to put in work to get somewhere. And if you have no groundwork, how are you going to accomplish this? It's like some of the mindset that these kids have are like so far-fetched. It's like, it's almost... It's like alien to me.
Yeah, it's wild.
Because I know like cause and effect. Cause I did this, the effect is that. So I put in the time. I put in the work.
I blame Amazon for it.
You think so? Yeah.
I blame Amazon. I blame technology. Not so much all technology, but what happens is we're animals of habit. So if all I have to do, if I want to see something, is press a button, I get it. If all I have to do is press a button, it comes to the house. If I don't have to leave my bedroom. Oh, I want to eat. Uber Eats. I don't even have Uber Eats on my platform, on my phone. But those are all the things they do.
Yeah.
Then
instant gratification.
All of a sudden,
right.
But that's the world, right? Oh, I just have to go on my phone and press it, and it comes to me. So I'll just be successful. I'm like, nah, G. That those guys that you're pressing those buttons, they created something that they knew that humans are basically lazy, and if they can make your life easy, quote unquote, easier, you just gravitate towards it.
At that point, you're just a part of the metaverse. Like you're a part of that. Like somebody created that, and now you're just a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy that's reaping the benefits is the guy that created that space. Yeah. And I think they don't get that. That's the part that they don't get. Like somebody created a space so that you can exist in this and just be a consumer.
They're just characters in the movie.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
They're not
That's
producing.
why I call it the metaverse, bro.
Yeah. So like they're consumers. Either you're a consumer or creator, I believe. I create transactions, I create content, I create stuff.
I love that.
If you're a consumer, all you're doing is eating.
Yeah.
Mindlessly though, because you're eating what I'm making.
Yes.
Right? So I think for the majority of it, people are just consumers because most people don't want to like solve a problem. Have you noticed that? Like people are like, oh, what'd you do?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to think about it. Like, how'd you fix that?
What we lack is critical thinking.
Right. Well, because it's hard.
Yeah, the older generation. Older generation.
Well, because the older generation ain't have no fucking other option.
Yes,
it was either, we don't figure this shit out. We ain't eating today.
Yes.
Right? My kids are not. If I don't work the overtime, my kids don't go to school. Or like the pressure that was on them. It brings me to this statement. Somebody posted it the other day. I forgot who the quote was from, but it goes something like this. It goes, hard times create great men. Do you know the quote?
Yeah.
Right. Easy times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. And there's the cycle.
Yeah, there's the cycle.
Right? So I think we're in the second. We're in the third part of the cycle right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe that, man.
I wholeheartedly believe
and
that.
I don't wish my kids to struggle, but I want them to understand that adversity is just part of it. It's just a part of it. And
I was taught that at a very young age.
Well, because of our generation, bro. Our generation. Look, you talked about the 80s and 90s. The pandemic was no joke. Don't get me wrong. Like, people died, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But the 80s was no fucking joke either. Because you went outside,
the 80s,
you got robbed, they could have killed you. There was crackheads. It was like a video game.
I tell people this shit all the time, man. It's like, if you made it through the 80s, man, you a real warrior.
Yo.
If you're still out here running around and successful, you made it through the 80s, you're a real warrior.
Yo, St. James Park, I could never go play basketball. 196 Jerome. Crack vials over the floor. I remember that. I was like, Mom, what's that? She was like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, and my kids were like, oh, the pandemic. I'm like, well, you had to stay home? And meanwhile, I had you had a backyard. I had the basketball hoop. Like, I did things.
You in a controlled environment.
Yeah, I had you.
A space that you created
you
for
good.
them.
You good, bro.
You weren't out here trying to fend for yourself,
Yeah.
They don't get it, man. They don't get it. That's how I know I'm getting older.
Latchkey baby, they don't know that term. I was like, you get home, you lock the door, you call your mom, I'm home.
Yes.
There's no cell phones, right? All right, don't leave the house until I get home.
I think that was the beginning of the demise, the cell phone. Every time they improved the cell phone, I think we just got dumber. Because think about it, like cell phones.
Lazier,
exactly.
Yeah, lazier.
Because think about it, your first phone was a flip phone. You can only make phone calls.
Yeah, forget texting. You had to press it 3 times.
Yeah. It was literally like you flip phone, the flip Motorola, big joint, you sitting here like that. And then all of a sudden, the phone started getting smaller and smarter. And then we just started getting...
The sidekick.
Yeah. Lazier and just more reliant on this technology. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the beginning of the end.
If you still retain resourcefulness and implement it with technology, you become unstoppable.
Yeah.
The issue becomes when we lose our critical thinking, our resourcefulness, and now we expect something else to solve the issue.
Yes.
So like, but people, I believe that the younger generation has to understand these are all supplements, but we're the main ingredient, and that's the part.
I love that.
Yeah, part that people don't understand yet. They're like, if I Google the phone, and my man, some things they ain't Google.
Think about that. We didn't grow up in the Google era. It was Encyclopedia Britannica. You wanted to go find something, Go look it up.
Or go to the library.
Or go to the library.
Yeah.
Now everything is at your fingertips, like you said.
Dewey Decimal System. I remember that shit.
Yo,
It's horrible.
like, it was hard when you was in school.
It was horrible.
When we were young, you know what I mean? Like, there was no Google, there was no Quizlet, there was no none of that. You had to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you got to open up a book and really, use your resources. And now it's just everything's at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and Rosetta Stone.
Yeah,
I get
bro.
mad.
Hey, man. I mean, I
get mad.
I love the advances, but like we just got to stick to the grassroots of what made us great to begin with.
Right. The advances, again, should be an add-on to a solid base.
Yeah.
And the solid base is what's being lost. I think because there's no solid foundation.
Yeah, you can't build anything great without a solid foundation. Absolutely. So I agree with that 1,000%.
Yeah. And then what happens is, and I understand it. I understand that parents let the kids jump on the iPad because like babysitter, they just get tired.
That's a slippery slope too, bro.
But I see it. So I understand you get tired. I understand that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to put that shit down and you got to have that one-on-one.
Yeah.
And let them know, yo, this is who I am. This is who you are. This is what this is.
Yes.
Because I think especially the younger parents, because they don't know adversity either, because our generation took care of a lot of shit, right? Like my kids are coming out with no college debt. I just finished paying my college debt off 2 years ago.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different thing. They won't ever appreciate it to the extent that I would, because my relationship, and this is a conversation I had with one of my kids, I said my relationship with education was different because I paid. Grandma didn't pay. I paid.
It's different when you cut the check.
Yeah, you walking out there, you good. It's a whole different, now there's no pressure. Like, because I was telling them, I was like, yo, student loans aren't bad. And they're like, because everybody, I hear one other kid say this to me, I'm gonna punch him in the face. I don't wanna have any student loan debt. All right, bro, so check this out. How about you get a fucking job or become an entrepreneur, learn a skill to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just another problem in life. It's not that big of a deal. But if you're gonna try to like absolve yourself of any responsibilities, who are you gonna be? Who are you gonna be?
Right.
That became a big issue. Like, I don't want a lot of student debt. I'm like, what else are you busy doing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. I'm not telling you to go into millions of dollars, but yo, man, having $50,000 in debt, all right, man, get a job.
Get a job,
Get a job.
Work your way out of that.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere. You got to do something.
Get a job in sales, right? Sales pays the most. Figure it out. Pay off your college debt, and then if you don't want to take some time off, take some time off. But that's what I hear a lot in the generation. And honestly, bro, I'm probably gonna lose some followers over this one. It's probably from their parents that are thinking with their pocket. They're like, yo, I only make this amount of money. Your son or daughter doesn't have to make what you make. No offense to anybody, but they could be great. They could make quintuple what you make.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, growing up, I couldn't ask my parents what they made. Get smacked in the head.
Yeah.
My kids, they know what I make. And I tell them, I'm like, yo, you could do this too if you bust your ass. Of course, they have these delusions of grandeur that it's mad easy. So I was like, all right, when you're ready, you go ahead.
They don't know it was a process.
No, they don't know the 16, 17 years of work I put in to get to where I'm at now. They just know that, yo, daddy says he could do it, he does it.
Jay says that. Jay-Z says, like, everybody wants the end result, but they don't know what work was put into it to get to the end result.
Everybody wants to emulate the end result,
yes.
and not the process.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, I know it was fucking close because they burn into me.
Yeah,
because I believe in them, and I agree, and that's what I see what's wrong. I'm not gonna say with America, but I'm gonna say with this new generation. I
would say that
it's almost like they're averse to adversity, they're averse to friction.
Yeah,
but there's no growth without struggle.
Yeah, you gotta be in an uncomfortable place to grow. I mean, that's the premise of training, right? It really starts to work when those reps start burning. That's when you really know you're working. But if you don't put yourself in an uncomfortable place, then there's no room for growth.
There's nothing to happen. You're not going to change.
You're not going to change.
Yeah.
If you're looking for change, you have to be a little bit uncomfortable. Not just some people don't like it. Pressure bust pipes, man.
You could tell, but you could see those people.
Diamonds.
Yeah, you could see those people. Like in my industry, like a lot of guys don't take care of themselves, and I'd be like, yo, how old are you? I'm 30. I'm like, damn. I was like, my man, I got like almost 20 on you.
Yeah.
Yo,
I learned that. I think I learned that a little bit. Because when you're in your 20s, you don't really care about, overall wellness, right? You go out, you
just want to look good, show muscles.
You want to look good,
show
exactly.
Muscles, yeah.
But then you start realizing that the quality of life situation is a lot better when you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, you get to have a good life later on.
Man.
Yeah.
Because you get to an age where you see your friends start dropping off, and you're like, oh shit, like how does that even happen? Because
or what about like I'm Latino, right? So all my most of my family diabetic.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you can see a pattern here.
Yeah, my family same way, bro.
I'm like, yo, no. Yeah. Oh, what do you mean? I'm like, the sugar in the coffee? Everything you have has sugar, like everything. Oh no, but you just starving yourself. I'm not starving myself. If I want something once in a while, I have it. But yo, I wanna actually stay moving around 70. I don't want to be stuck in a wheelchair or have my toe cut off. My uncle had his foot cut off.
Yo, let me tell you, that was a game changer for me. I had a friend of mine who was diabetic, and they removed his foot. Damn. And that for me, I was like, I'm good, because one of my greatest things that I enjoy is moving my body.
Right.
Like that is one of my gifts, 1,000%. And if you were to take that from me, I don't know if I could keep
mentally.
There's no way.
Yeah.
If you took the ability for me to move freely, like if I had to be reliant on somebody else or a machine or a tool, I think I would lose my mind.
Yeah. Have you been injured?
Yeah, nothing like I broke a couple of ribs.
Yeah.
Some fingers.
Yeah.
Nothing that had me laid up for a prolonged period of time.
Okay, nothing crazy. Yeah.
It's something to slow me up and be like, hey.
Yeah, I pulled a hamstring.
That's the worst, bro.
Yeah, because it can always come back.
It's a touch and go situation.
Yeah.
Just when you think you're healed, you do something and it tweaks it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and it could be something as simple as a jumping jack. I remember I was like, oh, damn. Push presses, all that stuff. So, yeah, so I became. So what happens when you get injured? Since you haven't had those type of injuries that I've had, you get aggy because you're agitated, right? Because you're not you, and you know you're not you. But then there's the other part where you're like, yo, be smart. And this is the mental toughness, right? You be smart, yo, let me work around it. Be grateful that everything else I can do. And you try to push yourself that way. Because, initially you're just agitated because you're like, yo, this shouldn't work like this. This just should be nothing to me, and you got to check your ego. Be like, look, man.
I get frustrated very easily like that. Yeah. When like if it's an inconvenience to my daily schedule, like I like to wake up and do the same shit every day. Right. I train at the same time every day. I just do everything. I'm very methodical when it comes to that. So if something makes me deviate from that, I know I'm gonna lose my shit. So I'm just one of those guys that like I crave structure.
Right.
Like that is a thing for me.
I think that's most humans. Especially as we kind of commit to our lives. When we're young, I think
certain types of humans crave that structure. I think
it's exciting when you're young to not know.
Yeah.
Because you don't have anything. You have nothing else going on. There's no responsibilities. It's like, yo, what are we doing today? Right?
Yeah.
And then you get a wife, you get a couple kids, you get a mortgage. You're like, oh,
yeah,
I need to know what to do today.
Once you get that mortgage and those responsibilities, that changes a lot.
They're gonna show up every month.
Yeah, no matter what. The bank don't care about your personal problems. I need my money.
You hurt your ribs? We don't care.
We don't care. Pay this mortgage. Figure it out. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I just gotta.
Yo, let me circle back to your podcast for a second.
Yeah.
So when are you dropping it? Has it dropped?
Yeah, it's dropped. We're like 6 episodes deep.
Do you drop it every week? How does it work?
We try to do it every other week.
Okay. And it's live?
No, it's not live. No,
okay.
no.
Okay.
It is we film it. No, we record it.
Right.
And then we chop it up and then we put it out to the people.
Okay.
So we try to drop on Sundays, but sometimes, with work and everybody's gainfully employed, so we just try to, drop when we can, but it's usually every 2 weeks we drop an episode.
How many people are involved?
Myself, my media guy, Zach,
okay,
who does work with Northeast as well.
Okay.
And then a really good friend of mine who was an FTO of mine when I was in the city. His name is Ellie Slavkin.
What's an FTO for the listeners?
Field training officer. I mean, he's a lawyer as well.
Okay.
Very, very intelligent dude.
Okay.
And I just felt it was a good move to, bring him on the platform and share his knowledge because he's a very well versed human being.
So he's an FTO, but he's a practicing lawyer, or he just
no, he's a practicing lawyer.
Okay,
but he's a police officer. He's a detective actually.
And, you do both?
Yeah, you can do both.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can do both.
Shit, okay.
As long as you pass that bar, you're good to go.
Oh shit!
Right. I know a few people that do that actually.
That's very interesting.
Most people just don't do criminal law.
Right, because they don't want any conflict of interest.
Exactly.
Right.
So when he retires, I think he'll do something like that. But as of right now, he's just existing in this space.
So where can we check? Apple iTunes?
No, I haven't. So everything's on Spotify right now. Spotify, Google Play.
They paid you the most?
No, I wish. I just feel like it's just easier.
Is it? Okay.
To have people see me on Spotify. Eventually, why? I just feel like I get more downloads that way. Because
you track all that.
Yeah, I've had podcasts on Apple, and I feel like Spotify to me was just getting the most traction.
Okay.
Like Spotify and like Google Play. So like Spotify is just easier because you get somebody with an Android, and maybe they don't I don't know, like some people don't like Google Play, so I feel like it's
in the middle.
Yeah, it's a universal platform.
So Apple or Android can use Spotify. And
so I feel like it's just
buck.
Okay. So analytics wise, I think.
Are you guys doing video with it?
No, man. So we'll do trailers, but the video part, which I think is key, because I think people like to see the interaction, the body language, the visual aspect of it.
Well, that and your clips.
Yeah,
your clips is powerful.
Everything's
powerful.
So.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah, we're gonna make it that way. I gotta get it set up like this. This is nice.
Yeah, you come use this place anytime. Anytime.
That's why I was inquiring.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, man. We'll make it happen.
For sure,
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Put your big logo back here.
That's it, man. That's it. Or maybe green screen it. We can green screen it.
You got green screen right there, man.
That's it, man.
All right. So what was your last episode?
Last episode we shot with a 30-year veteran of the New York City Police Department.
Did he have 9/11 stories?
She was around 9/11, but she was a UC during like the heyday of New York, like early 90s. She was doing undercover work, and she went from buying like small street
Giuliani
stuff,
era?
to buying like bricks.
And she talked about it.
And she talked about it. She didn't get too in depth.
Right, she can't get details.
But she was talking about like being on the set and then moving from that to now doing like big deals. And then working with different task force. And there's an aspect of the interview where she talks about mental health. She had a coworker commit suicide.
Yeah.
And that is a reality for a lot of first responders, man. This is
you guys deal with humanity at its worst.
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's what I believe.
It's the truth, though.
Yeah. And what people don't understand is, and I kind of get it, and I don't like. So you're a cop. I'm gonna talk to you about it. So Brian Kugler, you saw what happened.
Yes.
I was mad. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I told my kids about this. Because I tell my kids a lot because I want them to understand, like, to apply it. Right. Mm-hmm. That's something that I do all the time.
Yeah.
For different business things. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have reacted, bro. I would have probably got shot because I was like, well, fuck you. I was like, yo, my man, that would have been, because maybe it's my sense of entitlement. I don't know, because I know I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
But when I saw him, how he got scared, bro. Did you see that? That was true fear, bro. That was true fear. And I felt for that. I felt for that guy. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
And that was an unfortunate situation, but
damn.
That's the reality that we live in.
That's tough, man. That's tough. And look, it's a tale of two Americas. It's a tale of two Americas, but
people don't want to. They don't want to realize that.
No.
When I bring up stuff like that, it's like, what do you mean?
No, it's a tale of two Americas. The only thing I can tell you about that, working in the past with celebrities and stuff like that, I kind of like learned little things. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to always have your handlers like talk to people. Like, I have certain banks that I go to. They know me. They know, yo, what's up? All right, come. And you got to do that. Even if you're on set, man, you got to establish your footprint, because people don't understand it. I don't know why. There's always a reason why certain people are treated differently than others, and it's not just the color of our skin. Yeah. There's proper protocols. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I'm just saying, look, if you're a person of substantial net worth, you're a business, and you have to treat yourself that way. Hey, listen, I'll be in this area. This is what I look like. It's my crew, and we're moving.
This is what we're gonna be doing.
We're filming the fucking Black Panther 2. You heard about the movie?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
do you know what's going on here?
I would flaunt my shit a little bit to them. Be like, yo, you understand? So we good? So I don't.
Yeah.
That's what they have to do, and unfortunately, I mean, it seems like a little extra work, but it's not, because it's almost like working out. It might seem a little extra work, but then people look at you and they're, oh shit, you look great, and it's because of the work I do. Same thing. You establish your footprint.
Yeah.
Or your network, and be like, have these calls made. Mm-hmm. Because look, man, I don't have time for this. You know what I'm saying?
And that could have went left.
That
could have went left. I don't know if people realize that, but that could have been a really bad situation if he wasn't like calm and cool and collected. Yeah. That could have got really bad.
Yeah, real fast. And the only thing I thought about, I was like, I was upset because I could have easily seen myself in that position. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, you know what, man? They all, like, I have bankers. Like, I know people. I'm like, yo, I'm coming. Like, it's never like some rando.
Come through, grab the back,
Yeah, it's never a rando thing, but I do that on purpose. I don't want no friction. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no friction. And it takes a little more work to have less friction in life, but it's worth it, especially when you see videos like that.
Yeah. That should be a learning experience for anybody who is in that type of field and like,
or in that position.
Yeah, like that kind of money, I should say. Like, if you go in there, you're trying to grab a couple bands and you drop that note over that deposit slip, and they're looking at you like, you got to be aware of that like they may look at you and be like,
well, the crazy part,
hit that button.
The crazy part is this, right? So people, as much as they want to realize it or admit it or accept it, they live life through their perception, right? And what I mean by that is that in sales, you're taught different things. So the first thing you're taught is don't look at it from your side. Look at it from their side, meaning, yo, he lives in a whole different reality. You know, like, who knows how many M's this guy got? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that teller, if you see, I don't know, but, you know, if you see a couple M's in the guy, and he's taking $12,000, really? But her perception, you know, her being pregnant is a whole different thing, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it. I don't think it's an excuse. But, like, yo, push it together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Come on, that makes kind of sense.
Yeah.
I need 12, there's 16 million there. All right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
if someone's got 16 million and asking me for 12 racks, I'm gonna give you the 12 racks and I think twice about it.
Good luck, man. If it was 12 and he only had 12, even then, it's his money. But what there's certain things that like you kind of see yourself in, and I was like, yo, I was tight, man.
Man.
So that video, I got tight. I was like, yo, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I have any kind of police contact, you know, I don't wear a uniform 24/7.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that. How you driving through the hood? You get stopped?
I don't get stopped. I don't get stopped because I don't. You know what it is? I don't.
You don't go to the hood.
I don't go there no more. So it's like, unless I got to visit a family member, and I'll put myself in a vehicle that won't even require someone to stop me.
Okay.
Like, because the minute everybody knows.
You're thinking about it. You're thinking
absolutely.
About,
I've been stopped before outside of not in uniform, and I have to really trust me. I wear a uniform at work, but I know who I am, and I know if someone
without the uniform on.
Yeah, without the uniform on.
Right.
So like, I'll give you an experience that I had years ago. Right, I was on Jerome. I was coming out of the building. I don't want to be too specific, but I was coming out of a building, and the plainclothes cops ran up on me and threw me up against.
While you coming
wall.
out?
While I'm coming out this building, I went to go see my aunt, and they threw me up against a wall. Right now, they didn't identify themselves.
They didn't say anything.
No.
Yeah.
And
you're supposed to, right?
Hell yeah.
NYPD. Stop.
I had my shit. Exactly. So I don't know if it's the Jack Boys or
you know what's happening, right? So that could have went a really bad way.
Yeah. So they threw me up against the wall, and the guy said something. And I was like, "That's police jargon." See the cops. I was like, now I could calm myself down. So they turned me around like, "Yo, don't put your hands in your pockets. What apartment you coming from, and what business do you have here?" I said, "My aunt lives on such and such floor, apartment whatever B." I said, "Nah, that's where I came from." So if you go upstairs, she could confirm that? I said, "You don't even got to go that far." I said, my wallet's in my back right pocket. You can go reach. I have my police ID and my shield. And I said, I also have my firearm on me. It's on my right side. But I'm going to keep my hands up. I'm not even going to put my hands down because
you check.
I don't know what type of time you guys are on. And so, they do the whole shit or whatever. Like, oh, yeah. Now everybody's nice.
Everybody's good, yeah.
And the reasoning was because I looked like a bad dude. This is a drug-prone location, and you look like a bad dude. And I was like, okay.
Was that when Stop and Frisk was around?
Yeah, it was those days.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, all right, man, it is what it is. Like, I get it. It's almost like it's the law of averages, I always say, especially when it comes to police work and in neighborhoods like that, where, you'll stop 10 people and maybe get 3 guys. I just happen to be in that mix.
Right.
I don't think I did anything. There was no furtive movements on my part. I was just, it was cold, so I was trying to get to the car. So when I came downstairs, I jetted towards the car. I'm walking fast. I'm not walking slow. And I don't know, maybe I looked like somebody they knew. And that's not the only time it's happened to me, But it is what it is. I got tattoos. I'm muscular, like, whatever.
You must have done some time.
Yeah, like, that dude definitely, he did a bid somewhere.
Oh, he came out of Rikers. Hold on, stop over here.
Somebody actually, I was on an interview one time, and somebody asked me, hey, you got a lot of tattoos. We're not gonna find no gang tattoos on you, right? Now, mind you,
this is a work thing?
This was a police interview.
Wow.
Yeah, this was a police interview, and I'm like, That's when I knew I wasn't gonna get the job. I was like, these guys think I'm a banger, so I'm just gonna leave it alone.
What division was that? Can we talk about that or no?
I can't get too into it.
Okay.
It wasn't my job.
Okay.
It was for another job. And they were really intrigued.
Institutionalized racism is a big thing. The one thing I think I did different than a lot of my contemporaries, my homies that may have made it, is that once we bought a house, I helped my aunt buy a house. Like, and this was before I was in the game. I was a liquor store owner.
Yeah.
But I knew that we had to buy a house. We bought a house. Then my aunt, she got a lawsuit. I was like, you should get out that neighborhood. Get out 205 in Rochambeau by Jerome.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, let's get out of there.
Familiar.
Let's get you. I got my man selling the house. He got a little tax issue. Give him some money on the side. We good. You know, so I started moving the team over. Before I even knew, like, I didn't even know what kind of dollar amount, like, you can make money with this. It was just my mission. I was like, we got to move vertically. Like, and I
love that mindset.
Yeah,
bro.
and I was like, let's go. Because, you know, once you do it, now all of a sudden it's possible. So that's what became the chain reaction.
Yeah.
I did it with my mom, and then my aunt was like, yo, can you help me? I was like, yo, I got you. This one right here. Boom. We did it. Then my cousin, boom. But so everybody started moving.
Like
but I cracked the seal. I was like, yo, it's doable. This is totally doable. Absolutely. Understand that, guys. It's not just for other people.
Yeah.
We are other people.
This,
right. I was like, we are other people. We have jobs. We have this. I was like, let's make
it's
this
tangible for us.
Right. So then that became the thing now. Now everybody's like, my cousins are killing in Pennsylvania, some are in Florida. They're owners now.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I was saying before. I was like, I would never believe there'd be any change without ownership. And not just voting. I'm talking about the mindset of the family. Like, living in another country. No, this is your country.
Yes.
No, you own shit here.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have as much right as the next man. But I think that institutionalized racism has been put in our mindset. Kind of like, I mean, I went to NYU. To get into NYU, I had to be interviewed. I never had any, my mother didn't go to college. My mother, she didn't finish college. You know, usually kids are given like, people help them prep for, I didn't have any of that shit, bro.
Didn't have that.
I was like, she was like, you sure are quiet. I was like, and I remember this like yesterday. I was like, well, I don't know what to say. What do you need me to say? Like,
yeah.
So, well, what do you want me? And at the time, I wanted to be a police officer. She was like, you know, you don't have to go to NYU to be a police officer. I was like,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I figured I made it here. I'd like to see, and you know, how far I can take it. But it was like, it was a weird thing. She was like a Jewish lady, so obviously there was no relation, and it was hard. It was hard to communicate because there was no common ground. There was no common ground. Here she was from wherever she was in Soho, and here I was from the South Bronx.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the difficult part.
Somehow I had to kind of make it work. You know,
coming from two different worlds and trying to have a conversation. And then we're not privy.
And to be quantified by somebody else who cannot even like understand your life.
Exactly. They're not privy to the space that we grew up in. Like, you know, they don't understand certain things.
Yeah.
Like people ask me why I do certain things. I was like, well, this is the way I was raised. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I know. You know, I feel like my dad really prepared my brother and I for the world. That, you know, things are going to be a little bit different for you. But that's not an excuse. You just got to work a little bit harder.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't.
You have a younger or older brother?
Older brother.
Okay.
So I'm the baby. You know what I mean? My brother was kind of the guy who set the tone.
He was chopping down the trees in front of you.
Yeah. He set the tone. He set a great example for me. And,
is he a police officer also?
Yeah, but I was a police officer before he was.
Take the credit.
I'll take that one. He got into law enforcement shortly after I did.
What did he go to service?
Yeah, he was in the Air Force. Okay. And then when he got out of the Air Force, he went to school. And he has like a master's in like computer science, and he works for the federal government now. Okay. And you know, just watching him move was like inspirational for me. You know, it's great to have to be the little brother and have a big brother that sets the tone and sets a great example for you. Yeah. If you're willing to listen, right? Yeah. I got a great relationship with my brother, so it was always like he was always the big bro, and I was never known as Jason. I was always Lil Oscar. Little Oscar. Yeah. So like, you made a hard push to make yourself your name. Yes, right? Exactly. Because living in the shadow of a guy who never really he didn't really get into trouble. Right. He wasn't a guy that got into shit. I was always getting into stuff. Right. And he had to come save you? No, never. Because when I came up, so my brother left the house when I was 14. We're 4 years difference. Young. He left to the military at 18, so I had to fend for myself from 14 on. Right. So when I was getting into all that, and those are formative years. Yeah. When you're really trying to figure out your identity as a man or whatever, and you're making stupid decisions and doing dumb shit. Depending on who you're hanging out with. Yeah. And I always had my foot in half in, half out type, you know. And then people around me started dying and getting locked up, and I was like, maybe I need to remove myself from this situation. Yeah. You know, I think that was a game changer, man. One of my friends got murdered, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't really know if I want that life. I don't want my mom, you know, throwing dirt on my coffin or crying over me. So I was like, all right, let's just try to get on the straight and narrow while we can, you know, because some guys, they get involved in certain lifestyles, and some get away from the long arm of the law.
Right.
Others don't, or a bullet catches them.
Right.
So, you know, everybody who's in the streets, you have an expiration date. If you're not smart with it, you know, you may end up in a situation that may not favor you. So I saw a lot of people around me getting locked up and getting killed, and I was like, yo, yeah, this is not for me.
Yeah, I don't think I've known anybody in that side of it that got away scot-free. They pay one way or another.
They pay
one way or another. Yeah,
you got to pay.
Whether it's the
price.
lawman or the health or the family or
something.
their kids, there's always this big price. When they come for you, and you got to pay.
And that's why I always say, like, when someone has a gem, when someone tells me something, if I respect you, I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm listening. I'm always picking up free game. If you're willing to give me game, I'm picking it up.
I'm gonna write that down.
That's it.
I told my son the other day, I was like, I did an internship with the Queens DA, the ADA.
Yeah.
And they had me sit in the courtroom, and they were sentencing this kid. Kid was like, I don't know, 18. I was 18. I was 17, 18. I was my third year of college. I'm there with my suit. The black kid, they pull him out. And you know, I've never been in a courthouse for sentencing before. So I'm like, okay. And the judge says whatever jargon she says. And then she was like, I sentenced you to 35 years. Yo, bro, the wind came out of it because the gravity of it.
30 years of your life.
And you're 18. You're like a little kid. I'm like, oh.
You know how many friends that I know went in at like 18 and came out at like 28? So I always say this. I tell people this shit all the time. From 18 to like 25, to me, was like a roller coaster. I had so much fun.
Right.
I was just running around, going to parties.
Chilling.
Right? Doing fun, dumb shit. I couldn't even imagine if you took that from me and then put me in an institution, right? And then now, mind you, in a decade, technology also changes. These dudes went in, CD players, Walkmans were a thing. Now you come out with iPods, and shit has changed,
Downloads,
bro. Downloads, like, shit is different. So now, like, and these dudes walking around institutionalized, they still think they're inside, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I said that shit wasn't for me, man.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I had a real good friend of mine do some serious time, and I was like, that is not for me. I'd rather be on the other side. There's no way. And you know what? He was one of the guys that was like, you don't want this, bro.
Well, thank God.
Yeah,
thank God.
He was like, you don't want this. I don't want
Because some guys will drown. They want you to drown with them, right? Other guys will be like, yo,
this ain't for you.
This ain't for you.
Yeah,
I've had a couple of angels like that in my life too. They were like, yo, you're young. Don't come over with that. Yeah, stay on that side.
Actually, we spoke about that one time. A friend of mine, we spoke about like how the older guys would, if they saw you doing some dumb shit, they'd be like, yo, get out of here. This is not for you.
Yep.
You know, like that was the code of ethics. I think that we kind of miss that now. Well, the streets miss that now because now you got kids running around doing nonsense. But, you know, because they don't have OGs to teach them what to do, what not to do.
Well, not even that. There might be OGs there. They're not trying to listen. Because I remember I had that conversation one time, and he was like, you're in college. Do you think?
Yeah.
He's like, this looks cool.
This ain't for
you.
Yeah.
Go finish your school.
Yeah, you're right.
And I was like, okay. Because at that point, I respected that guy, right? That guy ended up doing 37 years. Yeah. I went to the sentencing too.
A good friend of mine, Styles P, always says this, and now it's just his thing. He's like, go to school and nerd up. Right? And he's very involved in the community. I know he's hands-on with like Yonkers Police and Yonkers Fire. And if you want to become like an EMT, these guys pay the fees
for you to go,
for you to take these tests.
That's dope.
Which I think is phenomenal. You know what I mean? And he says this all the time. Not everybody's built to be a gangster, man. There's nothing wrong with waking up, you know, going to work every day. You know, figure out what you're good at, cultivate that, and become something. Because this gangster shit, you know, there's only two places you end up, right? In prison or in a grave. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about gangster shit. I'll just use a parallelism to that and talk about business, right? Like, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. People don't understand that part. Like, everybody wants to be a number one.
It takes a special person to do that.
Everybody wants to be a number one. And sometimes the number one's a lonely place, bro. Number one, there's less people to relate to. You have to compartmentalize a lot of your life because the downs, you can't share those.
Yes.
Because that will shatter a regular person. That will destroy their perception of reality.
That's why I say it take a special person to be in that space, man.
But because social media, circling back into that, people, they see the glory, but not the low points.
Yeah.
And what they have to understand is, yo, you could be a dope number 2 or number 3 or number 4. You could be a fucking monster number 3. But number ones, and what I mean by number one is the CEO, the head, the guy, if it goes left, there's nobody to call. You look in the mirror like, how are we figuring this shit out?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants it. But then I'll be like, yo, this is what you gotta do. Oh shit, for real?
Heavy is the head that wears the
I was
crown.
like, yo, you gotta put up this money and it might not come back. Well, how am I gonna pay my bills? We don't know.
Yeah, I love that you said that.
Yeah.
I love that you said it because heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I've been seeing that more and more because it's become popular to say, but I'm like, all right, well, were you willing to do this for 10 years with no promises? When I first started, I had a business going already. I paid people to stay in that business so I could learn this business.
Yeah.
I paid people to run my store while I went to the banking industry to learn it. I wasn't paid, that's all commission. And I had to learn, and who knew, right?
Yeah.
It could not have worked
It was
out.
a dice roll. You better yourself, though.
Yeah, and I paid other people.
Yeah.
And who's gonna do that? Like, you ask people, yo, oh, you're not gonna pay me for my time? I'm like, yeah, $15 an hour. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
Oh no, I should be getting at least $30. Why? Because you make $1 million. Bro, we're not the same.
Yeah. We are not the same.
So like, you shouldn't compare yourself to me. Maybe in 15 years of eating shit, you can come back and talk to me.
Yeah.
I posted something online like a year ago. It was about the top money makers at that time were guys between 45 and 50 in my industry.
Yeah.
So I was like, shout out to a couple of my boys. I know, we kind of all know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And, mad young kids, yo, that's fucked up. I'm like, I would have to go to sleep for 20 years. You would have to get up every day and grind for 20 years. And when I wake up, maybe we could talk. I was like, yo, it is what it is, man. If you don't like it, change it. Do your thing. But everybody felt like I was talking to them. I wasn't talking to them. I was big up in my people.
Yeah.
Why you took offense to that is something you have to work out for yourself.
Yeah, that's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah, that is your insecurity, and that is your fears saying, yo, why you talking? I'm like, I don't even know. These people I don't even know on Instagram hit me up. And like when you said DMs, I was like, what? Who are you? But I was like, yo, if it bothers you, change it.
That's that sense of entitlement you were talking about before, too.
And that sensitivity shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of sensitive cats out here. I will say that. We live in the era of that. It's like, yo, toughen up, man.
Yeah.
Put your big boy pants on.
In the era of sensitivity.
Yeah.
All right, man. Listen, it's great having you on.
Love
please
being here.
Speak at the camera and let them know who you are, how they can get you.
I am the real Jumpman J, Jason Lacayo. You can just find me on Instagram.
Not
man.
Little Oscar.
Not Little Oscar, yeah. The real Jumpman J on Instagram, spells as it sounds. That's where you can find me. And I have a link tree there that'll link you to everything that I'm doing. So I'm super grateful for being here, man. Thank you.
Yo, thanks for being on. Thank you, guys.